Alright. Hey guys, I just got out of a shower. How we doing today? How we doing today? Hey, Golden Friars. How we doing today? Doing good? Doing good? I just got out of a shower. It's not late. It's not like some ridiculously like irregular time. This is basically the usual time that I record these, but the only difference is the reason why I did it is because I recently got poison ivy, and I don't know if you guys have had poison ivy before, but you're not supposed to itch it because when you itch it, it does not go away. Like, that's kind of like the big thing about whatever it's called, poison ivy. The whole thing about poison ivy is that you itch it and it sticks around, and it's not fun, right? And so I want you to guess how I got poison ivy. I want you to guess. Did you guess? Well, the way that I got poison ivy was because my dad said he thinks he saw some. That's not a joke. I did not see the poison ivy. I did not touch the poison ivy. I did not even exist within the same area as the poison ivy. I just got it. Cause that's just how it is for me. I just get poison ivy. And this has caused a lot of problems in the past. Nothing that's like, I don't think anyone's ever died because of poison ivy. It's made me want to die, but I've never, it's not like a critical problem, you know, whenever you have poison ivy. It's just really, 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 really inconvenient. It's miserable. It's so bad because you're always itchy. You always have this terrible itch, and you can't get rid of it because once you itch it, it gets bigger and bigger and worse, and that's just poison ivy. That's just what it is. Having itches is the worst. For someone that doesn't typically get poison ivy or itchy at all, it's the worst because you just I don't know why our bodies get itchy. Genuinely, I know it's a thing with like irritation, but unlike the immune system, you know, whenever you have allergies or something like that, that's the immune system overreacting, right? It's everything going crazy and having a grand old time and making your life miserable. That's what allergies is. So there's application. Your body is just too goated, as the kids say. But itchiness is like, there's never a time where you're better off because you itched something. Yeah, sure, I know about it, but you could just make it painful. You know, you could have just made it painful or something like that, instead of making it so that I have to constantly itch this irritated part of my body, you know? Like, what the frick is up with that? What's wrong with that? Why is that allowed to be? Why is that allowed to exist, huh? Yet, itches are somehow something that is not only a physical problem. We can't lie and say, oh, I've never had it so that I don't, there's something where you know you shouldn't do it. You know you shouldn't do it. It's not really good. It's not good for you or the world or anything like that. Yet we still just want to do it so badly. I guess an itch, I don't know if anyone else gets this, but like cutting in line would basically, I'd say that would be an itch, where we know we shouldn't do it, but we just want to feel like we have that kind of, you know, superiority. If everybody cut in line, then, you know, nobody cuts in line type deal. But still, wouldn't it just feel so good, right? Wouldn't it just be so nice if we could just like instantly have what we want. That'd be a case for an itch for me. But itches are notoriously they're notoriously associated with things that we kind of want but really shouldn't, you know? And yet we still get them. Much like you actual itches, we still get them. Despite not really wanting them and not having a function for them, they still exist. They define many people's lives as they cannot overcome their quote-unquote itch, you know? And what is this guy doing? And so I think it's really interesting, you know, because while itches, I think what an itch does really well is it tells us where we need to get better. Wow, that's really cool. He's a shiny. He's literally a shiny. Anyway, to treat an itch though, is really, like, it's not that hard. To treat an itch, all you have to do, really, see if you can follow me here. Don't itch it. That is straight up the answer to your problem. It's don't itch it. And that's a lot easier said than done. But it's also a similar scenario for, you know, addictions, I guess. If you, first of all, never step into poison ivy in the first place, or are bit in the first place, obviously you're not gonna get itchy. Oh, that was really dumb of me. Obviously you're not gonna get itchy if you never get if you never do anything to get itchy. Well, at least, yeah. For the most part, yeah. Of course, some people are inclined to get itchy, right? Like me, for instance. I know so many people that they can walk like through like freaking. They can walk through. They can walk through, like, bushes and bushes of poison ivy and not be affected, right? Like, my brother's like that, where he just gets, like, mild rash. He walked through poison ivy, and, he's like, yeah, I got it all along my arm. They look like bug bites, though. And I'm like, that's just bug bites. You did not get poison ivy. He didn't even get poison ivy. And me, I did, and it's made it so that they've had to be more careful. Him and my dad have to be more careful because of the nature of poison ivy, which is kind of accurate to addiction, I want to say. You know, not to get too serious or anything like that, but there are some famously made parallels between addiction. Made between itches and addiction, where it starts off small, but it just gets bigger and bigger, and the more you acknowledge it, and the more you itch, and the more you itch, the itchier you get. It never goes away. Itches are not fulfilling, right? It's very much so short-term happiness, short-term pleasure, for long-term pleasure. But the problem that arises is, since it's so different for so many different things. I mean, the easiest way, as I said earlier, to not get addicted is to, or not itch something, not have an itch, is to never itch in the first place. But how do you know if you're not supposed to itch something if you, like, if you don't think it's anything special? How are you supposed to know that you're not supposed to itch it? Because most things are not, they're not that deep, bro. You know, most things are not that serious. They're not that life or death, you know. But then you have, you get blindsided where you thought that it was dandruff, you know. You thought that all you had was dandruff, And turns out, nope, it was poison ivy. And don't even ask me how that worked. Because currently, I have had to be really on top of it whenever it comes to, poison ivy. I've gotten to the point where I just don't itch it. Whenever I think it's poison ivy, I do not itch it. Even if it's like really, really itchy, I will not itch it. Like for instance, on my left forearm, there were 2 dots where, like right where my wrist or my watch goes, there was like a dot, right? I'm like, that's freaking poison ivy. I can tell that's poison ivy, just because I thought it was, and lo and behold, yep, that was freaking poison ivy, and I didn't itch it. It just went away because I just didn't itch it. I would not itch. I would not itch it. I simply wouldn't. And it went away. It is now gone. Because I knew that it was just gonna be bad for me. It wasn't gonna be anything good. And so I didn't itch it. But what I didn't think about was itching my head. You know, whenever you have some dandruff and you just like scratch the back of your head, say you're nervous, it doesn't freaking matter. You just scratch the back of your head. Well, I figured, you know, I have some dandruff, it's fine. It's not like you can get poison ivy on your head anyway, because there's hair there. So since poison ivy is oil, the hair and its natural oils will make it so that you can't get poison ivy, right? Wrong. You still freaking can get poison ivy on your scalp. How do I know this? I currently have poison ivy on the back of my head. And it's so miserable. It's terrible because I can't use ointment on it. And I can't just like bandage it, right? Because there's freaking hair there. And I don't want to go bald. I already did that before, right? I've gone bald, and it's so bad. I'm considering going bald again because it is so immensely, immeasurably miserable. I cannot express to you guys how terrible this crap is. It was so bad a couple of nights ago, I woke up at like 1 in the morning. It was like, I only know this because I checked it afterwards. I woke up 1 in the morning with such a outstanding like itch, right? It was horrific. It was absolutely the worst, right? So bad that I had to just bite the bullet and take a shower. It was 1 in the morning, and the only reason why I didn't take a shower is because I had a really busy day and it was late and I was tired. So I didn't take a shower the night before, and so I figured, you know what? I'm doing it. And I turn on the hot water, and if you don't know, the only good thing about poison ivy, has got to be putting scalding hot water on a place where you have poison ivy. Because scalding hot water, what poison ivy is it's oils that go on your skin, irritate it, and then bubble up, and then those pus bubbles, whatever they are, those pus bubbles, whenever you break them, they spread. The oil that comes from those pus bubbles spread. It's terrible. It literally sounds like something out of a horror film, right? Like something from Infection or some crap. But nah, that's real, and that's something that our bodies just get hijacked, which is horrifying. But it happens, you know, whatever. We ball. And so hot water is the best because you just put that sucker, you put that bad boy under some hot water, and it doesn't pop it, but it still itches it, and it feels so good. Problem, it's also really, really, really bad for your skin. But bro, straight up, whenever I am that itchy, and like, because, I mean, it's been, my entire forearm has been just covered in poison ivy. And whenever it's that bad, I don't freaking care. I don't care. I want to claw my arm off. I do not care if, oh, it's a little bad for your skin. I don't freaking care. I literally, it dries out your skin, and I do know it's really bad because it makes it so that your skin's really calloused. Well, not calloused. It just damages your skin really badly. And if you do it over and over and over again, you know, irreparable damage will be done to my skin. But I typically only get poison ivy once a year. And in this case, it wasn't even on my forearms or anything like that. It was my freaking scalp. But the point of this to say, it's not really fair to say, like, whenever it comes to itches, you don't know when you're safe. You just have to assume that you're not safe. But I didn't even think about it. Whenever I itched my scalp, it's not like I was making a conscious decision. Oh, yeah, this is probably gonna make it so that for the next, like, 2 weeks, I won't be able to I'll just be miserable. For the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be just straight up miserable.
I wasn't expecting that. I was just like, oh my, I'm a little nervous, or like,
I have a little bit of dandruff, so I'll just itch the back of my head. And bam, misery. It sucks. It's unfair. It's ridiculous. It's bullcrap. And I'd say it's a similar principle for real life. Right? Whenever you're doing something that is gonna have severe and lasting side effects, like, for instance, it's easy to say, but genuinely, like, vaping. I know many people that vape, and they don't really, they know it's addictive, they just simply don't care. Not to start off with, right? And as time goes on, they just don't take it seriously. I'd say that's the biggest problem of itches. Whenever you don't take an itch seriously, that is whenever it has time to, like, grow and really manifest, right? Because whenever I didn't take my dandruff seriously, right? Whenever I was just like, oh, or that itch seriously, whenever I just thought, oh, you know, that it's just a little bit of dandruff, it's nothing serious. That lack of care, lack of genuine fear, I guess. That lack of seriousness. I don't know. Seriousness isn't exactly the proper word here, I'd say. But whenever you don't treat it with the respect that it needs, you know, the respect that it should garner, it will take advantage of that. Your body will get taken advantage of whenever you don't treat things seriously. Whenever you think that you have it under control, whenever you think that you have, like, oh, this isn't so bad, this isn't, like, it's fine. I can quit anytime I want. I can stop itching this poison ivy. I can lie to myself and say that I could stop itching this poison ivy anytime I want. And guys, I don't think I can. I'll be honest. I really need to figure out a way to fix this. Because my poison ivy on my arm has come and gone in the amount of time that my scalp is still dealing with it. Right? It's not good. It's not at all good. And I know it's a problem. But many people that recognize that something should be a problem just feel too, I want to say, prideful. They think that they got it under control. But a big problem, especially now, is that we don't, there's so many things that are trying to take advantage of our body. You know, things that are trying to maximize just take advantage of us. From our immune system, with biological things trying to take advantage of our immune system. Okay, that was kind of funny. Food, medicine, people, apps, corporations, everything is trying to get us hopelessly dependent on it.
because when you're addicted to something,
You need it. right? It doesn't matter how much it costs. It doesn't matter if it matters or not. It probably won't, but you'll still want it. And that's exactly, to sell something that has no use is a company's wet dream. And it's what most companies do right now. I'll just use social media as a real world example of an itch, because I think it's becoming a lot more of a problem as of recent, and people are treating it with a lot more seriousness than they have in the past, you know. And that might be because they just want to have something to complain about. I would not, you know, put it behind people, but that doesn't mean that there isn't any validity to it. I know that even me, I have a flip phone, right? I have a flip phone, and even I struggle with internet problems, right? Where, yep, saw that coming. I struggle with internet problems whenever I'm, you know, on the phone, or not on the phone. Whenever I'm sitting down and I'm trying to work on a video, and I just get onto freaking YouTube Shorts. I don't even, like, they kind of shove it down your throat at the moment. Uh-oh. Where you're just sitting down, and then you need people all the time. We just need something all the time. The ability to just exist has gotten a lot more difficult. It's, you know, it's kind of fair. Which is kind of fair, but also incredibly problematic. But you don't see it at first, you know. And I think the scariest thing about itches is real life itches, is they can be anything. They can come from anywhere, you know. You can literally get addicted to anything because it's just an unhealthy dependency on anything, right? That's what an addiction is. And so if whatever you get that from, it's a problem. Get back up. Oh, okay. Regardless, there are things that you can do to combat itches, as I said earlier. It's just about taking it seriously. If you don't think that you have an itch, the itch will not get better. That's all I'll say. You know, it can't start getting better if you don't even acknowledge its existence. At least I think. I guess you can, like, fall into it. But that literally never happens. So do not bet on that.